There was no warning. One moment the feeds were running, the next everything went offline. As an interstellar object slid past Mars, the world's most watched space agency, NASA, paused its broadcast. It wasn't a glitch or a routine update, it happened exactly when clear eyes were needed most. This is the story of what disappeared, why it may matter, and how that silence might be the loudest signal of all. NASA had been tracking 3i Atlas for months before the flyby. At first, it looked routine, a faint streak detected by the Atlas survey in Hawaii, moving faster than any local comet. But as data rolled in, the orbit didn't fit anything bound to the Sun. It was coming from outside our solar system. That made it the third confirmed interstellar object ever discovered, after Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019. When it approached Mars in early October 2025, every eye turned toward NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, MAVEN, and even Perseverance's sky cameras. These instruments were perfectly placed to capture something no human had ever seen, a non-solar visitor gliding past another planet. Then, just as the object reached its closest distance, roughly 14 million kilometers from Mars, NASA's main mission data portal went offline. The message was simple: due to a lapse in federal operations, updates are temporarily suspended. A coincidence, perhaps, but the timing was too sharp to ignore. The blackout lasted hours, covering the exact window when the object was nearest. Engineers blamed a technical synchronization fault. Yet, insiders quietly admitted it wasn't the first time such a system-wide freeze had hit during sensitive operations. It felt planned, controlled, like someone decided certain data wasn't ready for public view. The Mars flyby should have been one of the cleanest observational campaigns in years. NASA's orbiters had cameras ready, the European Space Agency was tuned in, and even China's Tianwen-1 orbiter had scheduled passes. But what happened instead felt scripted out of a sci-fi thriller. Hours before 3i Atlas's closest pass, NASA's image repository began showing error 403, access denied. Telemetry feeds from RMO, normally public, went silent. Researchers waiting for updates on spectral readings were told data unavailable. When the blackout lifted, something was off. The timestamps on NASA's Mars Climate Database skipped an entire 11-hour block, right over the flyby period. Meanwhile, amateur astronomers who had mirrored older image streams claimed that the final pre-blackout frames showed a thin, metallic-looking arc near the comet's coma. Could it have been noise, a processing glitch? Possibly, but the same features appeared across multiple sources before the feed cut. And when the blackout ended, those same channels had been archived, inaccessible to the public. Inside NASA, rumors spread of a data quarantine, a procedure used only when anomalous readings risk misinterpretation. In other words, they didn't want the public to see raw, unexplained images until experts could verify what they were looking at. To understand the blackout, we need to understand 3i Atlas itself. From the start, it didn't behave like any known comet or asteroid. Its brightness changed unpredictably, pulsing every few hours as though reflecting sunlight off rotating panels rather than an irregular rock. When the first spectral analysis came through before the blackout, they revealed something stranger. 3i Atlas contained almost no water ice. Instead, its composition was dominated by carbon dioxide and metallic nickel. That combination makes no sense for a natural comet from interstellar space. It's what you'd expect from something that had been superheated and reforged, as if manufactured or processed by extreme energy. As astrophysicist Avi Loeb put in an interview, it's either an exotic natural fragment from an extreme system, or it's something designed. He didn't call it alien technology, but the implication was impossible to ignore. And if Mars orbiters had captured evidence of that, even indirectly, NASA would have every reason to review before release. Some scientists compared the spectral data to the exhaust signature of nickel-based alloys, materials used in high-temperature engineering, like spacecraft thrusters, which raised the question, was 3i Atlas venting gas or firing something? When the feeds finally resumed, the first new images of 3i Atlas stunned the community. The object wasn't glowing blue-white like most icy comets. It was green, bright emerald, visible even through the dust of Mars's upper atmosphere. Normally, that green hue comes from sunlight reacting with diatomic carbon, C2. But here's the catch. Spectroscopy confirmed 3i Atlas had none at all. So, why was it glowing? Instead of carbon reacting with sunlight, its light came from ionized carbon dioxide, a reaction that only happens under sustained heat and high radiation. To put it simple, 3i Atlas was running on the wrong fuel. If a normal comet is like a car burning gasoline, this one was accelerating on liquid fire. Its tail contained nickel dust and carbon dioxide, ejecting at temperatures too high for solar heating alone. That's when speculation exploded. Could the object be self-powered? NASA's official stance remained calm, no evidence of propulsion or artificial behavior. But independent labs noticed that its trajectory shifted slightly after the flyby by 0.02 degrees, as if an external force had nudged it. And once again, data from the exact time frame of that shift missing. When reporters pressed NASA for answers, the agency said the outage was a routine maintenance overlap caused by the government funding pause. But internal timing records later leaked to journalists at Science Alert painted a different picture. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter's data relay had been temporarily rerouted through a restricted frequency, one used for classified defense communications. That's not standard maintenance, that's a deliberate communications blackout. Sources familiar with interagency protocols suggested the Defense Department might have stepped in after unidentified radiative interference was detected from the direction of 3i Atlas. In simpler words, something near Mars emitted a signal strong enough to trigger defense monitoring. No one is saying it was artificial, but it's enough to explain why NASA's public channels were pulled without warning. And by the time access returned, the signal, whatever it was, had faded beyond direction. For weeks, discussion boards filled with conspiracy theories, NASA hiding alien contact, Pentagon intercepts Martian signal, and black budget projects in space. But amid the rumors, one truth stood out. NASA hadn't yet released a full, unedited sequence from the Mars flyby. Then, 3 days later came the leak. A compressed video clip allegedly from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter surfaced on a private server, showing a faint, rotating object passing above the Martian limb. It appeared metallic, reflecting sunlight at regular intervals, unlike any tumbling comet nucleus. NASA neither confirmed nor denied the clip's authenticity. Within hours, the file vanished, but not before astronomers dissected every frame, noting a structured geometry, flat edges, repeating reflections, and a possible heat plume visible in the infrared band. That footage fueled the most serious question yet. What if 3i Atlas isn't a natural object passing through our system? What if it's an engineered relic, centuries old, moving along its international course? NASA doubled down on its silence. The agency's social media froze any public comments mentioning the leak. Officially, they said no verified imagery has been removed. Unofficially, internal memos described a data contamination event that required system resets, a vague term that raised more suspicion than it settled. Even stripped of mystery, the science behind 3i Atlas is extraordinary. Its velocity, over 72 kilometers per second, is so extreme that it can never be captured by the sun's gravity. That makes it a true messenger from beyond, carrying the chemistry of another star system entirely. Data from the brief pre-blackout window showed ratios of nickel, oxygen, and carbon unseen in any known comet. And while NASA has yet to publish a peer-reviewed paper, independent observatories in Chile and South Africa confirm the same readings. Whatever this thing is, it's not made from the same cosmic dust that built our planets. That alone makes it history. If proven artificial, it would mean humanity's first confirmed encounter with a manufactured interstellar object. If proven natural, it still represents a class of cosmic body never catalogued before, one that may reshape our understanding of how material moves between stars. Either way, the Mars blackout now feels less like paranoia and more like preparation. Weeks later, NASA's servers returned to normal. Archived Mars data came back online, mostly complete, though missing crucial logs from the flyby window. 3i Atlas is now racing toward its perihelion, growing fainter each night as it leaves Mars behind. But the echoes of that blackout linger. Scientists privately admit the timing remains unusual, and astronomers across the world continue scanning the path it left behind, searching for fragments, radiation, or just maybe transmissions. Inside NASA, sources say an internal task force is now quietly cataloging non-conforming interstellar data events. It's a sterile phrase for something potentially groundbreaking. Did we just witness the most tightly controlled moment in NASA's modern history? Or the first glimpse of something not meant for us yet? The truth might take years to declassify. 3i Atlas is gone now, fading into the black, heading back to the deep between stars. The data blackout is over, the servers are humming again, but the questions remain. Why did NASA go dark right when it mattered most? And what, if anything, did Mars see that we weren't allowed to? Because sometimes the silence says more than the signal ever could. Stay curious, stay questioning, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep space mysteries and discoveries ahead.